Yes. Yeah.
But like the comparison, like with me and some of the other guys.
So that'd be something neat to see, the Harris Centers.
The Pirates playing in Williams.
All right, welcome back for the second period here. AFC was the first period. Now we got the NFC for the second period here. And the first teams we're going to be talking about here is the Rams and the Buccaneers. Now, yes, we know Tom Brady in the playoffs. Shocker. That just seems to be the general thing for him, which, of course, I know a lot of teams right now, or I should say a lot of picks are probably going towards the Buccaneers.
I think a lot of picks are going to the Buccaneers. And you can't argue Brady in the playoffs. I mean,
no, you can't.
He has a track record, people.
And that track record is very successful.
I want to make the case that when the Rams score, they score big, and they can be a scary team to go against. When that team is firing and they're all on the same page and they're acting as one unit, that is a scary team to watch play. And not a scary team like, oh crap, it's Matt Stafford and the Lions scary. I'm like, what is this team going to do next to put points on the board? Matt Stafford with the Rams scary. I think Stafford with the Rams is showing to be the quarterback everyone thought he would be. And I'm not saying he's a Tom Brady level quarterback. I'm saying he's a very good quarterback surrounded by a really good core of wide receivers. And I saw a great meme last weekend. And this goes back to an episode we did where we talked about Odell Beckham Jr. going to the Rams. And the meme said Baker Mayfield fooled people into thinking that Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't good because he's with the Rams and he's doing pretty good. Yeah. I don't think the issue was Odell Beckham Jr. I think the issue was Baker Mayfield.
I mean, hell, San Francisco beat the Rams right at the end of the season just to get into the playoffs.
And that was a bad Rams game. I mean, the Rams are not immune to bad games, clearly. I'm just saying
any team isn't, but
when that team heats up, though.
Oh yeah, when they're on fire, they're on fire. That's for sure.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
and if you look at the stats between both teams, the Rams and the Bucks, there's only a few things that are like very lopsided. Like, let's say the passing yards per game. Of course, the Buccaneers had that with Brady on how he is.
But it's far closer than I think people would believe it is, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, the rushing yards per game is only, from what the stats here are on Sportsnet, it's only 0.6 difference. Points per game, 3 points per game difference. Points allowed per game, around 1 a difference between. So it's a very close. I mean, the touchdowns go, touchdowns, I guess, go to for, I'm not sure if they count this as the whole season or what has been done so far, counting playoffs. But even the Buccaneers have 63 to 52. Interceptions are only difference by 6. So this should be a very close game. This should be a very good game for how both teams are. Both teams, from what everything sees and what we've seen them do, it could be a good offensive game.
Yeah, I think it very well could be. I'm a big fan of that Rams receiving core, partially because I had Cooper Kupp on my team, on my fantasy team this year, so it'd be kind of hard to not want to root for them.
Yeah.
Stafford, I mean, he's had some classic Matt Stafford games where he does throw multiple interceptions.
But how often does that happen?
Much less than when he was in Detroit.
Exactly.
But I think a lot of his issues in Detroit was he just didn't have people to work with, and he was just trying to make things happen.
And when you force that, it doesn't work well.
Right. He looks more natural in LA. You got Kupp, you got Odell Beckham Jr., who's a veteran at this point, which it's crazy to say that, but that's what it is. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. I mean, they're my pick. They're my upset pick. I think if they beat the Bucs, it's going to be a huge upset, and I kind of want to see them beat the Bucs because Stafford finally played in his first playoff game after all these years in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, according to CBSSports.com, I just remembered to look this up now instead of also last period for this as well for even the analyst picks. Out of eight analysts from there, only let me see here, one are picking the Buccaneers. The other ones are picking the Rams.
Well, I mean, and there's reason for that. Godwin's out. Godwin is on the injured reserve. I mean, he was on my fantasy team, and it murdered me when he went out. So they're doing without one of their top two wide receivers. Mike Evans is really good. Gronk takes one bad hit, he's done. He has that many concussions. I mean, he's like Billy Bob in freaking what's that movie? Varsity Blues. He's like Billy Bob in Varsity Blues. He's got that many concussions.
I mean, he's been slaughtered a lot through the years playing.
He's the ultimate bro. But seriously though, Brady's going without one of his biggest weapons at wide receiver. That's not discrediting how good Brady is in the playoffs. I'm just saying he's going in a man down.
But the thing is, though, with Brady is despite he can be, he's going in with a man down, yes, but he can still pick apart a defense and not even sweat about it. Because, and we've seen that how many times, like when they beat Atlanta in overtime, they were picking the short yardage.
What about last year in the Super Bowl?
There again,
the Chiefs made small mistakes because of Brady. He got in their head. And
Brady can pick you apart. I mean, everybody hates Brady because of how successful he is, but that goes with the territory of being that type of player. So, and
I don't want it to sound like he picked them apart by being cocky. He picked them apart because he's
strategic.
He's a strategic football player. He's a good mind for the game of offense in football.
He's, like you said, he's not a cocky player. He doesn't come out to be cocky. Even in his interviews, he's not coming out to be cocky. He just knows. It's just him knowing what he's looking at.
And I think he's a totally, and we said this last year, he's a totally different player in Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah. It's almost like he controls everything instead of Belichick trying to control him. He controls the game. And look what happened. First year in Tampa, gets another ring.
Right.
And I think that's when a lot of people don't want to see Brady win because then, another ring for Brady. Because everybody's tired of hearing about Tom Brady.
I mean, another ring for Brady it at this point, it puts the nail in the coffin of who was the who was the reason the Pats won those Super Bowls.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was the talent. You can be a great coach, but if you don't have the talent, being a great coach doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that doesn't mean jack.
So who's your pick for this one?
Well, I'm torn between. Like I said, I'm going with the Rams probably, just because just like everybody else wants to see Brady lose the game, just because they don't want to have him win the Super Bowl. But what's funny is it was like I was saying, the CBS.com. I think I sent you the link there. Only one analyst is picking the Buccaneers, which I found interesting. I think if you scroll, it's just over halfway down.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I wish I would have remembered to bring this up for the last period. But no, it's funny how a lot of people are picking the Rams over the Buccaneers. But hey.
I think that's just because when the Rams get hot, they're white hot. And side note, they can there's going to be a blip here in the audio. I went to click on the link David sent me, and I clicked on pause recording by accident. So
Have
just
nice
cluing
things.
everyone in. That's what happened.
Oh, that's why we don't have nice things. But
So
even
we're both picking the Rams.
even with the previous matchups here, the Rams have the last two, and they're the last one, according to Sportsnet, 24-34 Rams by 10, but the previous one before that was only by 3 for the Rams. So, going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting on that one. So on to San Francisco and Green Bay. This one has me nervous just because I am a San Francisco fan. This one has me nervous. Despite the team statistics are basically even in this. Except for interceptions, they go to San Francisco, unfortunately. Now, we all know my pick. I'm going for San Francisco, of course, on this one. But not only just because of they're my favorite team, it's just Rodgers is having a hard time with them. Now, hopefully, I'm not jinxing this. Is having a hard time with them in the playoffs. I think the last 3 times, if I read this correctly, Rodgers have lost. Green Bay has not beat San Francisco in the last few times in the playoffs.
I'm gonna shoot from the hip here. I dislike Aaron Rodgers so much. I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers, and this is something that I've felt way before he lied about his vaccination status, and everyone started to dislike him this year. I've disliked him a lot longer than that. It's not good when your teammates dislike you, when your coaches dislike you, and yeah, he's won them championships, and that's freaking great. But if you're a crap teammate, who's going to want to play for you?
Right.
And by all accounts, he's not a leader. He's kind of a whiner. He's kind of a baby. He's kind of a drama queen. He's just a big, giant freaking headache in football. And I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers in football.
Tell us how you really feel. Don't beat around the bush either. I mean, it's not that he is. I mean, he's only won 1 Super Bowl.
He's a baby.
That's it. And now he just is having problems with San Francisco in the playoffs, and I hope that continues. Just like I said, I'm hoping that. But San Francisco has a couple of things going not good for them right now. I mean, yes, Nick Bosa has cleared concussion protocol, so he'll be playing. And Garoppolo is not at 100% right now. Because from what I was reading, even after the Cowboys game, strained shoulder, and he's still messing with his thumb. Now, what San Francisco has, I feel, is a good thing for their game is a running game. Their running game spot on anymore, from the last, against the Rams, against the Cowboys.
And they got to keep that ground game in order for them to win that game. I don't know.
And right now, according to CBS Sports, it's halved, 4-4. So that one's definitely going to be. I feel it's going to be a nail biter. And it's going to be one to where I'm sweating. I probably won't sleep that night if they lose. Just so I'll be, the typical playoff thing that always happens.
Right.
Now, again, it's in Lambeau. And I think I saw that they want the game when it starts to, I think it's temperatures to be at, where did I read that at? I know it's in single digits.
Right. That gives them that advantage over the warm weather Niners.
Well, then again, Garoppolo, who knows if he's used to it being a Patriot for all those years. So
right.
Because a lot of people who are just coming into liking football, he was behind Brady for X amount of years, and the reason why they traded Garoppolo from New England, or I should say not traded, but moved Garoppolo, is because they knew he was not going to start in New England.
And Garoppolo can be a really good quarterback at times. He's not one of the great ones, but again, I go back to Matt Stafford. He isn't great either.
Well, every quarterback has their moment. If they can make that play that could take you to the next level, or they could just keep you just working away.
As long as they stick to their run game, they can do some special things. George Kittle's one of the best tight ends in football, and he's actually healthy right now, so that's a plus in their corner.
He is a beast. I remember watching the game where
when
they
he's
played
healthy,
the Saints.
he's a beast. When he's healthy, I had him last year in fantasy, and he was injured.
Pick him. I remember watching the game against the Saints, and he drug one of the Saints players while the Saints player had his face mask. He must have ran another, maybe 10 yards while dragging him. But I'm hoping San Francisco comes out of this. That's my pick for that, of course.
That's
I hope
my
Rodgers,
pick. I'm picking the Niners.
I'm hoping Rodgers has like a horrible game. That's just me, I guess.
I'm just sick of Aaron Rodgers. I've been sick of Aaron Rodgers. This is not a COVID thing. I just have disliked him for a long time. He's overrated. He ain't worth the money. I'm sorry, Packers fans. You have a jerk as a quarterback.
Well, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Wah! Favre held me back. Wah! Get over it, dude.
Well, think about this, though. How many quarterbacks went out and became? Drew Bledsoe had to go out for Brady to come in. Montana had to go out for Steve Young to come in. Favre had to come out for Rodgers to come in. Now, that's just the way that quarterbacks run. That's just the way it is.
Again, to me, he's just nothing but a headache.
Well, hopefully this headache is golfing by tomorrow, by let's say Sunday morning or something. Let's just hope. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting. So on that note, that'd be the end of the second period. We'll be right back.